Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel, and today I'm joined by Greg Fischer, going to be in the co-main event of LFA 113, July 30th in Belton, Texas. Sir, thank you for the time. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, trying to survive in everything. Let's start off with you and first fight in a year. So what's some thoughts on the time that you've had off and getting back to action here?
Um, yeah, COVID kind of put a damper on some fights, and after my last fight, I wanted to get right back in there, but I had a significant injury going into that fight. So after the fight, I was like, I just want this to heal before I jump into another fight, and then just nothing happened, and I had something else scheduled at the beginning of this year, and that kind of fell through. So it's been a minute.
How are you feeling then? How is the health now, saying there was a nagging injury?
Oh, it's good. It's been good for a long time now.
Last time we saw you, it was a title opportunity at 125. We know you floated back between 25, 35. This case, it's 35. Is it still that mentality that you're floating back and forth? Is this a decision to change?
Um, I haven't really decided. I guess I feel like if I can still make both, do both, and it also depends on where the opportunities lie. I guess if 35 is easier to get fights, 25 is they probably need a bunch of people for fights at 25 as well. If I can do the weight cut still and make weight, then I'll just bounce between the two.
And so saying a year ago, outside the injury, you felt the weight cut went well. You were still physically feeling good as a
Oh,
flyweight.
yeah, I've had past flyweight camps where like if I didn't cook it, I couldn't eat it. Um, but my last camp, I believe, was my first camp following Veronica Castillo. She's like a dietitian in New Mexico, and she gave me a diet plan, and there was flexibility with it. There was like a couple times where I could go out and eat, at restaurants, and just a handful of times. But the last weight cut went way better than past 25 weight cuts, and they didn't give, since it was a title, I didn't get that extra pound, and we still made it. So yeah, she helped me a lot for the last one.
After a year, is it nice to not have to get right down to 125, a little bump here, 135?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, 35 is much easier to make. So that is definitely nice.
We know you split time. Sometimes you come down here in Albuquerque, then you're back home in Maryland. What was this camp like?
I'm always training. Um, and so I was kind of like in a camp for something in April, and then that fell through. Went to Jackson Wink um, in July to help a buddy of mine, Manny, who's fighting in Bellator coming up here soon. Actually, now it's the day after my fight, and I originally went there because he just wanted like, someone to room with him and train with him and stuff like that. So I went out there to help him, and then like 3 or 4 days later, I got the fight offer, and I'm like, you know what, I'm here. I just added a week to my trip, so I ended up doing 3 weeks out there. Um, and then I came home a couple days ago. I'm doing the last week here at home, and then I'll fly out for the fight.
Okay, I got to get off topic and ask about this friendship. I just got done interviewing Manny for his
Oh,
fight.
nice.
He's a 55er from Oklahoma. You're a 25, 35er from Maryland. Where is the connection there?
Um, he actually, we've known each other for a couple of years. We met out there, and I think it's just like, I don't know. I can like drill with him. I can hold pads for him, and I think he just, a big thing is he just wants like good vibes, like someone to get along with and hang out with. And I ended up rooming with him at the dorms there for the whole time I was there, and it just makes it more fun. We, both of us are in fight camp, so we're both, you know, like eating good. We're both, training hard, and yeah, it was, I don't know, it was cool, hanging out with him, training with him. I actually, he wanted me to corner him his last fight. So I cornered his last fight in Bellator. And yeah, it's good vibes hanging out with him.
As far as your fight coming up, who do you got planned for your corner right now?
I just have my head coach from Maryland, Eddie Abney. He cornered me in my last fight for LFA.
Going away from 5 rounds, you've done that many times. Again, as we said, 35, it's easier to make. Is 3 rounds also a little nicer than 5 rounds after kind of the year layoff? And it didn't even sound like it was a layoff. It sounds like it was more just like stuff was falling through.
Yeah. 3 rounds. 3 rounds will be nice to come back to. Yeah. The last one, training for 5 rounds at 25, navigating a 25 weight cut and keep the endurance to go 5 rounds. And I feel like we did it, like, even though, the fight went how it went, the training leading up to it before injuries and whatnot, I feel like I could have definitely lasted 5 rounds if it went 5 rounds. So 3 rounds should be no problem.
Did you feel there was any adjustments that needed to be made walking away from that one?
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely adjustments with training. A big thing I feel like with my last one was just with COVID and training, like a jiu-jitsu gym that I went to in New Mexico was closed completely for the camp. So I wasn't like rolling a lot. And Jimmy, the guy I fought, he was a stud grappler. So the gym in New Mexico that I do grappling at, Gracie Baja, they were closed completely. So that's 3 days a week. I wasn't rolling for my last one. And then with COVID, the gym was the schedule changed. Classes were shorter. Everything was like small group. And then leading up to that, and then getting injured a week and a half before, it was a rough one. I had a lot of stuff going on in the last one, but this one has been way better than that.
Ricky Camp, he comes in on a 6-fight win streak. First time we're going to see him in the LFA, coming from Guam. And I'm sure you've noticed it also, easily able to find him on YouTube. His last couple fights, the dude's aggressive and looks like there's a lot of power in that big right hand.
Oh yeah, he's very explosive. Yeah, I mean, he's got a tough style. He's very explosive. He's got a ton of knockouts. He's got a ton of submissions. Yeah, I mean, he's a dangerous opponent, but that's what we want, right? It's like, and I think his last fight, I think, was a title fight too, or he has some title out there in either Guam or one of the island countries. So he'll be my 6th opponent in a row who has had a title at some other organization. So,
So you like these tough matchups?
Yeah, I feel like the first couple fights going pro, it's like, you're starting to build yourself. So, when you're 0-0 or 1-0, your first couple pro fights, everyone is similar in record. It's way easier to find fights when you're starting out than when you're, 10 or more fights in. But to a point, it's like you got to get tested. And yeah, I mean, that's how you do it. You fight good people, because at the high level of UFC or Bellator, everyone has a winning record. You're not really fighting like bums anymore. So you should test the waters before going to those organizations. That's how I feel.
Oh, it's definitely a good outlook. I got to agree with you. You don't want to get in that water and realize it's too deep for you.
There's people who get to some of those promotions with not fighting the most stacked, or I guess they call it like strength of schedule. Some people get there without a deep strength of schedule, but I feel like the deeper your opponent talent pool before you get there will better prepare you for when you're there.
And you had a tough one. You've got, like, we've looked at the record on yours, and yeah, no, you've been through some guys right now with some good resumes and some quality wins. What advantages do you think you have? Talk about a little.
He's very well-rounded. He's got a 90% win streak, or not win streak, win percentage, I guess. He's got a ton of knockouts, a ton of submissions. So it's like it's clear he can win everywhere. So I mean, it's just I gotta just show up and perform on fight night.
Any kind of mental adjustment that takes, or mindset that you have to get back to?
Yeah, I feel like just I gotta be ready to go 100%. You know, as soon as the fight happens, he comes out aggressive. He's very powerful. Um, he's very fast. So I come out ready to go at 100%. You know, as soon as the bell rings.
Then last time I talked to you, I believe ahead of the fight, there was a really cool T-shirt design that you had came up with. Anything going on for this one, merchandise wise?
Yeah, kind of my thing is like I'm like a foodie. Like I love food. I love traveling and trying new foods and snacking. And usually when I'm not in fight camp, when I come to the gym, I got a bunch of snacks in my training bag just to keep me going. When I'm not in camp, I always have some kind of snacks in my bag. So I kind of got known as like the food guy, the snack guy, you know, in my little my circle at the gym. And so my last fight shirt was cookies and milk, and this one's gonna be pizza.
What's the go-to snack while you're in camp?
Hmm. Um, I guess fruit. I like fruit. I like almond butter and banana. Sometimes, since this one I didn't really have to cut a lot of weight, dark chocolate and almond butter is like a really good snack. I love it's almost like a Reese's, except probably a little bit healthier.
Oh yeah, well, that sounds good. Got the fight coming up. It's a return to the cage after a year, things falling through. Is there a bit of excitement to just be able to get back in there?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I want to get back to the point where it's like fighting is just regular. Like every couple months, take a fight. Because I feel like that's the that's the best way to get experience. Two, that's money's coming in. Three, you get more comfortable with it the more you do it, like anything else.
You spar without an audience, obviously, but how different was LFA 86 in that quiet environment?
It was kind of weird. I actually liked it because before the fight, like at the Pentagon, it was at you could walk around a little bit, and it's not like people aren't like trying to talk to you or coming up to you. Like it was a breeze walking through there. I kind of wished I was like I wanted to try one more fight with no audience, just because I feel like I really didn't like soak it all in, because it's such a unique thing that might not happen again. So I would have liked to get one more fight with no audience, just to I don't know, just to take in the moment a little bit more. But this one's full audience, so we're back to business as usual.
Do you think it's going to hit you a little bit differently before hearing the crowd?
Probably a little bit. Like I get pumped up when I hear the crowd. But it was also like, I don't know, there's things I like about both crowd and no crowd. You know, but it'll be nice having fans and the energy. It's a different energy when the room is loud.
The room's going to be loud. The lights are going to be bright. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass LFA 113. It's on July 30th. Greg Fischer, thank you for the time.